Okay, so here is your quick, stretchy flow. We're just gonna hit all the bases, put on some funky music so that you kind of feel distracted and you have fun while doing this. Ideally, some kind of mat. It doesn't need to be the Thai mat, but, or a carpet. Carpet is fine. No props. I'm doing this video just completely like easy, easy, easy. So starting with your calves, feet and calves. This is a calf stretch for me today. You want to come into a lunge. You want your pelvis as upright as possible. Mine doesn't look particularly upright now because of this, but I'm really trying to lift out of my core. So this is not going to give you a calf stretch because my calf is actually long. Really bringing the pelvis forward. Sometimes people say they feel more of a calf stretch when they like swivel the heel out and of course pausing there. I get the best stretch parallel. So breathing into the stretch. And again, like something just fun to listen to, so you're kind of like bopping along, stay moving a little. Other leg. I don't know, like 20, 30 seconds aside. And again, trying to lift really out of the core, out of the psoas, dragging the pelvis forward. And then the feet a little bit, so pushing onto the top of the foot. We talked a little bit about like running and how a lot of the time people injure themselves running. A lot of the time that's a feet and ankle issue. Bear in mind, balancing will be good for that before running. This video is specifically for stretching. So pressing on the top of the foot. This is nice on a pad too, like on a mat or pad. Pressing. I'm near the wall on purpose because the next one we're gonna do for the bottom of the foot. You're gonna come really close to the wall and put your toes up on the wall. So the toes are on the wall and you're getting a nice stretch there. I'm coming as close to the wall as possible. So I get a really big stretch. Sometimes even bending your knee can exacerbate the stretch there. Or intensify, I shouldn't use negative words. So yeah, toes up the wall, body really close, bending the knee. After that, I really like to kind of travel up slowly. So like dealing with the knees with running, of course. What did I just stand on? Like a splinter. They're a huge issue. So like just getting the knees mobile. This isn't particular, well it is a stretch actually for the collateral ligaments around your knees. But I'm just drawing circles with my knees just to remind them they have actually a lot of lateral mobility, 15 degrees, which is wild. And then I'm dropping down into a squat to get up into my hips. I want you to come to a squat where you can actually sit. So I'm kind of even sitting in my shoulders, sitting in my arms, gliding side to side, adductors. Yeah. Ooh, that's a good one. This one's nice because it can kind of even be a bit of a back stretch. You can see I'm like really lengthening my spine. I am not round here, super important. If you're tight, that might look like this. That might be as low as you can get. Get as low as you can. And then quads. Quads, same idea as the calves. If your butt is here, you're not going to get a stretch. So dragging the pelvis forward, think of like the funky chicken. Pelvis still, but you can swing the thigh bone forward and back. So good. Simple, but like necessary and effective. If your quads are tight, the core can't work as well because the quads kind of think they're the core. So stretch those quads. Can't see the timer, so I don't know if I'm keeping this to under 5 minutes, but I will try. Yeah, thigh bone forward and back. Whew. And then we're dropping down into a lunge. So first kind of finding out what your baseline is. So again, my hip joint is really long and open, and I'm dropping forward and back. And eventually you can turn this into a hamstring stretch. Once you feel like you've kind of gotten into the psoas, you can drop back. You might need a yoga block for this to put under your left bum, or whatever bum is going back, or whatever butt of the leg that's forward is going back. And you're coming into a forward fold here. That's a hamstring stretch, probably a little bit of a lower back stretch as well. Psoas, hamstring, psoas, hamstring, psoas, hamstring. I'll throw like a basic and then other side. After this one, because we're down on the mat, because you'll be down here, this is probably a good place to do a, what's it called? Pigeon pose instead of number 4. Generally, I prefer number 4. Human seated, it's a little bit easier on your back and knee. But we'll have a look at like a really simple pigeon pose because it's so effective. And then hamstring, psoas, hamstring. And so as you don't need to go this fast. Slow is better. I'm going too fast. Hamstring and psoas. Ooh, hamstrings are tight. So from here, to come into a really healthy pigeon pose, I'm coming from my lunge, my hands are coming to the floor. If you're tight, your hands might have to be inside your knee, but you do want to shimmy this foot over. So I'm wiggling my right foot over to my left, and then I'm coming down. For me, that angle is way too acute with the foot level with the knee, so I shimmy my foot back a little bit to come down into pigeon, and then down on the elbows. And that is such a lovely stretch. You want to stay here for a while, like at least a minute, just because this is one of those like spindle fiber muscles. It's very slow to release. If you want to add on here, you can bend the back knee, but that's a lot on the knee. And as always with stretching, everything is more effective if you can remember to breathe. My apologies because I think this flow is going a little bit fast in general. And slower is better. But also, even if you go the speed I'm going after a run or after some kind of cardio, your body will thank you. Even before, if you've warmed up a little bit. When you're ready to come out, I'm not sure that was a minute, but coming back up onto all fours, dragging the other knee forward. I'm shimmying my foot. I'm getting into it slightly different on this side. You could get it into it like this on the other side, just because I kind of know the angle that my foot can go at now. And you can see that I'm like barely 45 degrees. I do not get into a very intense pigeon here. And down into the elbows, and whoosh, you'll know. So notice I'm not also like lying over here on my left. I'm really trying to get my pelvis over my foot. And again, option to bend the back leg. I'm just getting a nice big glute stretch there. I'm like swinging a little tiny bit right to left with my pelvis. Nothing intense. I mean, nothing too crazy. This is also a really great segue to this other one for the quad. I'm not sure how low onto the ground I can quite get here, but your right knee is going to come all the way out. Oh, I can get pretty low. Your right knee is going to come all the way out to a right angle, and the left knee is bending. So this one's nice because it stretches the adductor and it stabilizes the pelvis while you stretch the quad. This is our second quad stretch, but this one is a little bit more of a multitasker. And back up onto all fours. Left knee way out to the side. Right leg long. This nice big adductor and quad stretch. From here, Frogger, which is such a great adductor stretch, especially for guys, because guys tend to be tighter, or male-bodied folks tend to be tighter in the adductors. So kind of a funny looking position, but it's effective. So you're starting on all fours, and you're gonna spread your knees as wide as you're comfortable. Again, super important to have a really soft surface for this one. You can stay up on your hands or come down onto your elbows. And you're just gonna glide the pelvis forward and back. Like I said, it's kind of a funny looking one, but it really gets into the adductors, which releases the low back. And some of you, like I know especially some of my female-bodied clients, the pelvis will be on the floor, so it won't be a huge stretch. And again, when you're ready to come out, kind of shimmying from the feet and knees and dropping into a child's pose. Honestly, this one's probably best at the end, but there is something else I wanted to throw in. Oh yeah, mermaid. If you've got a pregnant belly in the way, bring your knees really wide. And then mermaid. This is just such a lovely hip stretch. So in physical therapy, this is called the 90-90 position. One leg is 90-ish degrees externally rotated, and one is internally rotated, and you're just coming towards the internally rotated leg. Such a great side stretch, especially when there's back pain. A lot of stuff can hide in the side body. Whew. And then 90-90 the other way, and I think that's probably about it, honestly. I think that covers most of your bases. Not a ton of shoulders, as you can see. If you have shoulder stuff, this one, opening the capsule, is like just an all-time favorite. Very safe, very helpful. But because we're just staying on the subject of stretching, I won't go further than that. So I really hope you enjoy that. I hope that helps. It is, oh gosh, it's closer to 10 minutes. Sorry about that. But yeah, it'll help. Please try.